There's something magical about pulling a warm tray of chocolate chip cookies out of the oven. The scent of butter, sugar, and melting chocolate fills the air, instantly making any kitchen feel like home. But here's a little twist. This all-time American classic wasn't even planned. Believe it or not, the chocolate chip cookie was invented completely by accident back in 1938. One mistake in a Massachusetts kitchen ended up changing dessert history forever, creating a sweet legacy that continues to bring joy to millions. And while we all know how delicious these cookies taste, have you ever wondered how they became such a cultural icon? Or how modern factories produce millions of perfect cookies for grocery stores and bakeries across the country? Let's dive deep into the story, the science, and the mouth-watering process of chocolate chip cookies. A treat that Americans will never stop loving. It all began with Ruth Wakefield, who ran the famous Toll House in Whitman, Massachusetts. She was already well known in the region for her cooking, especially her buttery desserts. One day, while preparing a batch of her butter drop cookies, she decided to add broken pieces of a Nestle semi-sweet chocolate bar to the dough. Her assumption was simple: the chocolate would melt into the dough, creating a rich chocolate-flavored cookie. But instead, the chocolate held its shape, softening just enough to create those irresistible pockets of melted goodness. What came out of the oven wasn't what Ruth expected, but it was far better. The chocolate chip cookie was born, and America would never be the same. Ruth's happy accident quickly spread beyond her inn. Guests loved the cookies so much that word traveled fast, and soon everyone wanted the recipe. Nestle recognized the genius of this creation, and in a smart business move, struck a deal with Ruth Wakefield. They printed her recipe on the back of their chocolate bar packaging, and in exchange, Ruth received a lifetime supply of Nestle chocolate. That's Rita's never-ending flow of chocolate in her pantry. Not a bad reward for what was essentially a kitchen experiment gone right. From that moment on, the chocolate chip cookie wasn't just a New England treat, it became a nationwide phenomenon. Bake sales, school cafeterias, diners, and eventually fast food chains all featured some version of it. By the mid-20th century, it wasn't just food, it was a piece of Americana. The chocolate chip cookie carried with it the nostalgia of childhood, the comfort of home baking, and the universal appeal of sweet, buttery dough paired with melty chocolate. Even today, whether you're grabbing a pack of Chips Ahoy from the store or baking your grandmother's recipe from scratch, that first bite brings the same familiar comfort that generations before us have enjoyed. Of course, a cookie this beloved didn't stay small for long. Its demand for chocolate chip cookies grew to the point where industrial bakeries had to step in. But here's where things get interesting. How do you take something so homey, so tied to a family kitchen, and reproduce it on a massive scale without losing the taste and texture that makes it special? That's where food, science, and technology come in. It all starts with ingredients. Just like Ruth's original recipe, today's cookies rely on flour, sugar, butter, eggs, chocolate, and leavening agents. But when you're baking on an industrial scale, consistency is everything. Flour isn't just flour, it's carefully sourced from milling companies that make sure the protein levels are right. Too much protein, and the cookies get tough. Too little, and they fall apart. Sugar is selected in two forms: granulated sugar, which gives crisp edges, and brown sugar, which brings moisture and a caramel-like richness. Butter remains the gold standard for flavor, though many bakeries experiment with oils for shelf stability or vegan-friendly alternatives. And then, of course, there's the chocolate. Not just any chocolate chip will do. Manufacturers carefully control the cocoa content, chip size, and melting behavior to ensure that every bite delivers that perfect burst of chocolate dot before a single batch hits the ovens. Ingredients go through rigorous quality checks. Flour is sifted to remove impurities. Sugar is finely ground to mix smoothly, and butter is softened to just the right consistency. Even eggs are pasteurized and warmed to room temperature so they blend evenly into the dough. Every step is designed to mimic the care of a home baker, but with the precision of advanced machinery. Once the prep is done, the magic of mixing begins. In giant industrial mixers, butter and sugar are creamed together until fluffy, creating tiny air pockets that help the cookies bake with a soft yet chewy texture. Eggs and vanilla extract are folded in, adding richness and aroma. Then come the dry ingredients, flour, salt, and baking, soda added slowly to avoid overworking the dough. Overmixing is a real danger, even at this scale, because it can lead to tough, dense cookies. And finally, the star ingredient makes its entrance: the chocolate chips. They're folded in gently to ensure even distribution, because nobody wants a cookie with just one lonely chip hiding in the corner. With the dough ready, shaping becomes the next challenge. Unlike home bakers who use spoons or scoops, factories rely on highly precise portioning machines. These machines squeeze out uniform dough balls, each one identical in size and weight. This ensures that every cookie bakes evenly, with no half-burnt edges or undercooked centers. The dough balls glide down conveyor belts toward massive ovens, where rows upon rows bake simultaneously. The baking process is a carefully choreographed dance of time and temperature. Too hot, and the cookies spread too thin. Too cool, and they stay pale and underbake. Industrial ovens are designed with multiple temperature zones, so cookies start at a high heat to set the edges, then finish at a lower heat to cook through without burning. The result: a cookie with crisp golden edges and a soft, chewy center, the kind of balance bakers strive for in every batch. After baking, the cookies are cooled on conveyor belts with powerful fans. This step isn't just about preventing burnt tongues, it's crucial for packaging. Warm cookies would create condensation inside the package, leading to sogginess. Once cooled, cookies are sorted, checked for quality, and packed into everything from resealable bags to plastic trays, ready to ship across the country. What's truly amazing is how much thought goes into even the smallest detail: the texture of the chocolate chips, the protein in the flour, the ratio of white to brown sugar. All these variables determine how a cookie looks, feels, and tastes. And in a market where millions of people have strong opinions about their ideal cookie, factories can't afford to get it wrong. That's why food scientists spend years testing recipes, adjusting moisture levels, experimenting with oven designs, and even running taste panels to make sure the final product lives up to the cookie legacy. But beyond the science, there's something else that keeps chocolate chip cookies on top: emotion. Think about it. The chocolate chip cookie isn't just dessert, it's an experience. For kids, it's often the first thing they learn to bake. For parents, it's a go-to treat to share with family. For late-night snackers, it's comfort after a long day. And for millions of Americans, it's tied to nostalgia, tradition, and the idea of home. That's why even as bakeries experiment with gourmet versions stuffed with caramel, sprinkled with sea salt, or made gluten-free, the classic chocolate chip cookie remains unbeatable. From Ruth Wakefield's small inn in 1938 to today's high-tech factories pumping out thousands of cookies an hour, the journey of the chocolate chip cookie is as sweet as the treat itself. What started as a mistake became one of the most iconic desserts in American history, and it continues to evolve while keeping its core appeal intact. The next time you bite into a warm, gooey cookie, just remember you're tasting more than butter, sugar, and chocolate. You're tasting a piece of history, a story of innovation, and a tradition that connects generations. And honestly, that's what makes chocolate chip cookies not just delicious, but unforgettable. There's something magical about opening a fresh pack of cookies. That sweet aroma of chocolate and sugar drifts up. The golden edges glisten, and before you know it, you're reaching for one. Then another. But have you ever stopped mid-bite and wondered how these little pieces of joy actually make their way from a factory oven to your kitchen counter? The journey of the classic chocolate chip cookie is far more fascinating than you might imagine. It's not just about flour, sugar, and chocolate coming together. It's a carefully engineered process designed to make sure every cookie looks perfect, tastes delicious, and stays fresh long after it leaves the oven. Today, we're diving behind the scenes to discover how America's favorite cookie is made on a massive scale, where science, technology, and a whole lot of love for dessert come together. It all starts with the dough, the very heart of any cookie. The recipe may sound simple: flour, sugar, butter, eggs, and of course, chocolate chips. But the consistency of the dough is everything. Factories need to make sure it has just the right balance of moisture and thickness. Too soft, and the cookies spread too much; too firm, and they don't bake evenly. Once mixed, the dough is portioned into uniform mounds by precision machines. For classic chocolate chip cookies, these mounds are rounded and neat, but the factory can adjust them. For texture, want a crispier cookie? The dough is pressed a little flatter. Prefer a chewier bite? The mounds are left tall and thick, giving the center more softness. Advanced machinery can even sprinkle on extra chocolate chips or add fun toppings, ensuring every cookie looks irresistible before it even hits the oven. To keep things from sticking, baking trays are lightly coated with release agents or lined with parchment-like materials. Each mound of dough is carefully spaced apart, making sure the cookies don't merge into one giant blob while baking. It might sound like a small step, but it's crucial for keeping them uniform. In large-scale factories, consistency isn't just about taste. It's about appearance and weight, too. Every cookie you see in a package has been shaped and sized to perfection so that no matter where you buy it, it feels and tastes the same. Once the dough is ready, the real magic begins in the ovens. These aren't the ovens you have at home. They're enormous conveyor ovens designed to move tray after tray of cookie dough through carefully controlled heating zones. Each zone maintains a precise temperature and airflow, allowing the cookies to bake evenly from edge to center. Typically, the baking temperature ranges from 325 degrees Fahrenheit to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Lower temperatures produce softer, chewier cookies, while higher temperatures give you those delightfully crisp edges that snap when you bite into them. Time is just as important as heat. Most cookies bake for around 10 to 15 minutes, depending on their size and thickness. And the factory ovens are programmed to the second to guarantee that golden brown finish. Inside these ovens, humidity control is a secret weapon. Without it, cookies could dry out too quickly, losing that balance between soft centers and crisp edges. Fans circulate the heat to create even browning, while infrared sensors monitor the surface temperature of the cookies, ensuring they're pulled out at the perfect moment. This isn't guesswork, it's science, making sure every single cookie is baked to perfection, not undercooked or overly crunchy. When the trays finally emerge, the air is filled with that irresistible aroma we all know: warm butter, toasted flour, and melted chocolate. But the process doesn't stop there. Right out of the oven, cookies are still fragile. They need time to cool and firm up so they can hold their shape. This happens on long conveyor belts equipped with gentle streams of air that bring the cookies down to room temperature over the course of 10 to 20 minutes. Cooling too quickly could cause cracks or a loss of texture, so the airflow is carefully balanced to keep the cookies crisp at the edges while protecting their soft, chewy centers. As they cool, the cookies go through a round of quality checks. Both human workers and high-tech cameras examine them for size, shape, and color. Cookies that are too dark, misshapen, or cracked don't make the cut. Instead, they're often crushed into crumbs and repurposed for other products like pie crusts or ice cream toppings, which helps reduce waste. Once cooled and approved, it's time to package them, a step that's just as important as baking. Packaging is what keeps cookies fresh long after they leave the factory. Automated machines gently place them into trays, bags, or boxes, depending on the brand's signature look. Vacuum sealing or resealable closures are added to keep out air, which is the enemy of freshness. This ensures that when you open a package, days or even weeks later, the cookies still taste as if they just came out of the oven. Labels are applied with essential details, nutrition facts, allergen warnings, and batch codes that allow for quality tracking. It's not just about safety and regulation, though. Packaging also plays a big role in marketing. Bright colors, tempting images, and recognizable branding are designed to catch your eye in the grocery store and spark that craving before you even reach the checkout line. Behind the scenes, the packaging process is almost entirely automated. This reduces human handling, keeping everything sanitary while speeding up production. In today's food industry, automation doesn't just make things faster, it ensures consistency, safety, and efficiency. Once sealed and labeled, the cookies head into temperature-controlled warehouses. This is especially important for varieties with chocolate chips, since nobody wants melted chocolate smeared inside the package. Distribution centers then coordinate with retailers using just-in-time delivery to make sure cookies arrive at stores fresh without overcrowding shelves. Delivery trucks, often equipped with temperature regulation, move them quickly and safely across the country when they finally reach stores. Presentation takes over. Retailers know exactly where to place cookies to make them irresistible near checkout lines for impulse buys, on end cap displays with bright signage, or in aisles alongside complementary products like milk and coffee. Promotions, limited editions, and seasonal packaging add to the appeal, making sure cookies are always top of mind for shoppers. That final step in the journey, from shelf to your cart, ties together the whole process. Careful dough mixing, precision baking, meticulous cooling, high-tech packaging, and smart marketing, all leading to the moment you take that first satisfying bite. The reason chocolate chip cookies remain one of America's top comfort foods is because every stage of production is built to preserve their magic. The combination of crispy edges, gooey centers, hand-rich chocolate chunks is universal. Kids love them with a glass of milk. Adults enjoy them with coffee, and families share them fresh out of the oven or straight from the pack. The consistency of flavor, texture, and freshness is what has earned these cookies a permanent spot in lunchboxes, snack drawers, and holiday tables across the U.S. Factories keep innovating with new flavors, gluten-free or vegan options, and creative packaging. But the core remains the same. That classic cookie, that first one. America's heart. What's incredible is how such a simple treat has become a global favorite. The chocolate chip cookie, born in Massachusetts nearly a century ago, has grown into a multi-billion-dollar industry powered by modern technology, but still rooted in the same comforting flavor. Every cookie in that bag you buy carries the legacy of tradition mixed with the precision of science. And as you savor it, you're not just enjoying dessert, you're tasting the result of a finely tuned system built to deliver happiness in every bite. Now here's the real question. How do you like your cookies? Do you go for the soft, chewy ones that almost melt in your mouth? Or do you prefer the thin, crispy kind that snap when you take a bite? Let us know your favorite style, because the debate has been going on for generations and probably won't stop anytime soon. And if you've enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look at how cookies are made, stick around. We've got plenty more factory secrets and food journeys to share. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a taste of the stories behind your favorite snacks. Because let's face it, life's too short not to know where your cookies come from.